Both the military and social situations in Iraq and Afghanistan under constant review. First Iraq and the new Defence Secretary, Mr. John Hutton.
Sorry, I thought that was a vote. It's not a vote, is it? The security situation, I think, generally in the south of Iraq is significantly better. And that's been brought about by a combination of reasons. I think the UK forces have played an absolutely sterling role in bringing about that transformed situation. The Charge of the Knights was a critical event. So too was the Sons of Iraq and the Awakening movement, and the efforts at political reconciliation and broadening the depth and base of Iraqi civil society. But I think it's no doubt at all in my mind that the situation is completely transformed in and around Basra. And I was able to spend one afternoon in Basra myself. Sat down and had tea and coffee and dates with local Basrawians, and my security was entirely provided by Iraqi security forces. But I think there are reasons for us to be optimistic and confident about the security situation in Iraq generally, and in particular in the situation in the south. Now, that is not to say, of course, that Al-Qaeda and the other groups, the other militias, don't continue to pose a real and serious threat. They do.
The Foreign Secretary had a broader overview of the situation, past and present.
I think that the commitment to an inclusive political system is very strong. I think that the fact that Iraq is helped by the huge revenues that are coming from their increasing oil production help the spirit of compromise. I think that the legislative achievements over the last 3 or 4 months, notably in respect of provincial elections and other provincial powers acts, suggests that while you're right to say that the historical ledger will be balanced and there will be some very negative things on the ledger, equally there will be some significantly positive aspects on the ledger too. And I've always said, in the end, our job now is not to review the rights and wrongs of the last 5 years, it's to make sure that the next 5 years take forward the positive trends and tackle the negative ones. And we've got to be open that there are negative ones as well as positive ones. But I think that not least on the security side, but also on the political side and on the economic side, there are positive trends on which to build, and I think that gradually they can surpass the negative ones.
The Foreign Secretary then turned to the situation across Afghanistan.
I think what one can say as an overview is that in conventional fighting, the coalition forces, including our own, more than hold their own. And the Taliban and its various groups are decisively repulsed on a number of occasions. That explains, secondly, the turn of Taliban towards traditional insurgency tactics, and the reason why many people now describe this as a more conventional counterinsurgency operation than a traditional military operation. Thirdly, I think it's also important to recognise that there is a particular set of dynamics going on in Kabul, where there have been high-profile attacks on aid workers, not on the military. And I think that's really the overview. I think we should then get into the different situation in different parts of the country, because the truth is the situation in the east has significantly improved, including in the last few months. And we were looking at figures on that this morning. So we can talk about the east, we can talk about terrorist attacks on individuals in Kabul, we can talk in detail about the situation in Helmand, but I think the important point to say is that in the conventional theatre, in the conventional confrontation, coalition forces decisively win, and there's no evidence of the Taliban rolling back gains that have been made by coalition forces. Equally, it's important to say that the new asymmetric tactics that are being used by the insurgency are very difficult to fight against and pose a different kind of challenge, and challenge the minds of the Afghan people as well as challenge them physically. And I think that that's why the Afghans want to hear a very clear message that we recognise that this is a long-term mission, that it's a economic and social and political mission as well as a military mission, but also keep saying that our forces and those of other countries are making an enormous difference.
An upbeat assessment, the security situation improving in both countries, but no room for complacency.
Of the British forces, we welcome the improvement of the Afghan forces.